If there are two paths diverging in a wood, I chose the less traveled, and that has made all the difference. If there are two paths diverging in a wood, whichever one you take, the cost of that opportunity was the other one. If you take path A, path B was the cost for taking path A. You can't take both. You have $10,000 to invest. Well, you can't invest $10,000 in two different companies. You could go 5 and 5, but that's still a choice. That's still a path. That's a third path. Whichever path you take, you are sacrificing the other paths. That is opportunity cost. What I learned from my big win of $50,000 in cryptocurrency is that I had sacrificed an opportunity to buy a house at 2 or 3% interest. Because during the pandemic in 2020, the Fed crashed interest rates to zero. They said, nobody's buying houses, no one's spending money, the stock market's crashing, we need to print money and drop interest rates as fast as possible to get people spending money so that the stock market recovers and we don't enter a depression. My sister bought a house. She bought a house at 3% interest. Inflation has been 5 to 15% over the last 3 years. So banks are losing money on her loan. She has a fixed interest loan at 3% interest, and banks are losing 5 to 15% value of their money each year. At the height of it, it was about 8% according to the Fed, probably higher. Now the Fed says that inflation is down to 3%. At best, they're breaking even. At worst, banks are losing money, not my sister, because she got the money when it was most valuable, and now the value of those dollars that she's paying back is worth less each year. So she got the money when it was worth more, and now she's paying it back as money loses value over the next 30 years. Pretty genius. And the opportunity cost for me of putting all of my money into cryptocurrency was losing the opportunity to buy a house at 2 or 3% interest, because now rates are 8%. And if you do the math, there is quite a big difference between an 8% interest rate on a house and a 3% interest rate on a house. If you buy a $300,000 house, that's the difference of about $1,000 on your monthly payment. It's the difference between a $2,000 monthly payment and a $3,000 monthly payment on a $300,000 house. 3% and 8%. The opportunity cost of my crypto investment in 2020 was missing out on buying a house at 2 or 3% interest while the Fed was trying to get everybody to spend money buying houses. So you want to keep these things in mind, because the cost of whatever you do decide to do is the thing you didn't decide to do, or the many infinite things you didn't decide to do. And if I'm being honest about my decision to invest money in cryptocurrency, I made a lot of money. But in the long run, buying a house could have been a better decision over the next 30 years. But in my life, where I was living in Mexico. I was not in a position to buy a house. I didn't want to buy a house. I wanted to be internationally free. So it wouldn't have made sense for me to make that decision. And my gut, my instinct, chose correctly. My gut and my instinct wanted an investment vehicle that could follow me internationally. It didn't want to be tied down geographical national borders. It wanted to have an investment that could follow me wherever I wanted to go. That was my priority at that point, and I made that gut instinct decision based off of that. It was the right decision at the time. My sister made an even better decision, because for her, having a house for her and her family is the most important thing. She got a loan at 3% interest, and inflation has been higher than 3% since she got that loan. So she is beating inflation on that loan because she got the money before it started losing value. And she's been able to rent out half of that house and pay that mortgage. So she's killing it. She's living essentially rent-free, maybe $300 or $400 a month on her mortgage, while the other half, the rental, pays most of it. And she can focus on being a mom and doing what she loves. She also looked at the opportunities, and I talked to her about crypto at that point, and she went, "It's cool, not for me. Right now I really want a house for me and my family." My sister beat big banks. She got a loan at a lower interest rate than inflation has been since she got that loan. So they are losing more money in real terms due to inflation each year than they are charging her in interest. She got the money when it was more valuable. Good for her. She's winning, they're losing. So don't sink into despair and don't be defeated. There are opportunities out there for you to improve your life, and you need to pay attention. You got to find these opportunities. They aren't just going to wander across your lap. You're going to have to look around. You're going to have to look hard. Once you have these opportunities and you've developed a palette of them, talk to people about their perspective on these opportunities. Once you've done that, commit to one or two, but commit. Commit using your gut instinct based off of what you want in your life at that moment. That's the decision I made. It worked out for me. That's the decision my sister made, and it worked out for her. If you're looking for some new music, my album Pacific is on Spotify and Apple Music. The track list is Wanderer, Wild and Free, The Whole World Is My Home, Go on an Adventure, I Am the Wind, It's Not the Years, It's the Miles. It's an adventure rock album inspired by the Smiths, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Nirvana, Green Day, Cage the Elephant, Arctic Monkeys, the Libertines. A lot of great rock and roll. So if you're looking for something new, check that out, and stay tuned for more personal finance information. I want to help you go on your own personal adventure and do your thing your way.
Go on an adventure, go